Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to Nirnay IAS. This is Kiran Sir, faculty for PSIR optional. I would like to inform you that we are going to launch PSI. we are going to launch PSRI optional batch. I have 12 years of vast experience in teaching and training for IAS aspirants. I taught across the country. I taught in Delhi, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Bombay, Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland. I successfully trained many civils aspirants who have taken PSIR optional to score more than 300 marks. In fact, the theme of our program itself is Mission 300. I assure you that I would train you adequately and I would provide deep insights into the subject so that it would be a cakewalk for you to score more than 300. With regard to my qualifications, I have completed my Masters in Political Science as well as Public Administration. In both the subjects, I have qualified UGC NET and I have completed my LLB. I have completed my MBA as well. With regard to PSIR optional syllabus, the paper 1, paper 2, as we know, each paper comprises section A and section B. Paper 1, section A is the crucial part in PSIR optional because section A comprises political theories, political theory, political ideologies. Section A, Western political thought. It comprises Western political thought, Indian political thought, political ideologies, and political theory. It comprises Western political thought, Indian political thought, political ideologies, and political theory. Section A is crucial in PSIR optional because it lays foundations to understand section B in paper A as well as the theories in international relations, foreign affairs in paper 2. And UPSC, to the maximum extent, it has leverage to confuse the aspirant only in section A. For the aspirant, section B of paper 1, section A and section B of paper 2, they are cakewalk. For the majority of aspirants, they face problem in section A of paper 1. That is why in Nirnay IAS, we will emphasize on providing concept-based learning for the aspirant, conceptual clarity, explaining the philosophy behind the concepts. For instance, what are the differences between classical liberalism and neoliberalism? What are the differences between orthodox communism and classical communism? What is substantive justice? What is procedural justice? Comparing the notion of justice according to Plato and according to John Rawls. the conception of justice according to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and that of John Rawls. This is how in Nirnay IAS we are going to emphasize a lot on providing conceptual clarity, lucidly explaining the concepts, lucidly explaining the philosophies behind the concepts to the aspirants so that they can get grasp over political thought, especially Western political thought, political ideologies and political theory. Many aspirants, they consider section A of paper 1 is a Herculean task, but it is my assurance that I will make it a cakewalk for you. It will be a cakewalk for you. And comprehensive material gleaned from standard books will be provided for you so that you need not to fritter away your energies and time in referring n number of sources. So this is section A. Section B of paper 1, as you know, it comprises Indian freedom movement, where we will delve deep into what are the strategical differences between Gandhi and Subhash Bose, Gandhi and Tilak. What are the strategical differences between Swadeshi movement on one hand, then non-cooperation movement on the other? What were the strategical differences between non-cooperation movement on one hand, civil disobedient movement on the other? This is how we will discuss the subject from comparative perspective. We will delve deep into the subject. We will have conceptual clarity. Then comes Indian polity. In section A, in section B, paper 1, Indian polity, fundamental rights, the Union Executive, Supreme Court, DPSPs, then the state administration. What is the difference between the polity that you studied in general studies and the polity that you study in political science? We will delve deep into the subject. We will learn case laws. You will have such a deep insights into Indian polity that you will be totally mesmerized. For instance, we are going to discuss the comparison of right to freedom of speech and expression in Indian Constitution under Article 19 subclass 1 small a and the same fundamental right in US Constitution. Such comparative analysis of fundamental rights, that material you will not find in the market. And we are going to have deep insights on the subject such as what does basic structure mean? Nobody explains what does basic structure mean. But Justice Mukherjee and Hegde, Justice Hegde, they explained in the same Keshwarananda Bharati case what does basic structure mean. In Ashok Kumar Thakur case, the Supreme Court of India enunciated that right to education under Article 21 capital A is the most precious fundamental right. It stands above all other fundamental rights because it is through this right all other fundamental rights are realized. This is how we are going to discuss case laws as well. We are going to discuss the entire spectrum through which Article 14 is applicable. So this is Indian polity. Section B of paper 1 of political science optional, it comprises the party system in India, the role of caste, ethnicity in Indian politics, planning and economic development, social movements. So in a nutshell, this is paper 1. Then comes paper 2. In paper 2, section A is crucial because it comprises the theory part. Section A, paper 2, we are going to discuss from Global Politics written by Andrew Hewitt. I assure you, UPSC cannot cross beyond this. In paper 1 also, political ideologies we are going to discuss from Andrew Hewitt. UPSC cannot cross beyond this. So in section A of paper 2, we are going to learn the theories in international relations such as idealist theory, Marxist theory, etc. In fact, many aspirants, they mundanely study about international relations. But in fact, Andrew Hewitt says, we should not call them as international relations. We should in fact call them as inter-nation state relations. You see the beauty of Andrew Hewitt. I repeat once again, we cannot call, in fact, we should not call international relations. We should call as students of political science as inter-nation state relations, because there's a lots of difference between nation on one hand, nation state on the other hand. Palestine is a nation, but it's not a nation state. And apart from that, he beautifully explains what do world affairs mean or global politics mean. World affairs, regional affairs, national affairs, subnational affairs, they are integrated, especially in this globalized era. For instance, the American forces a few years back, they left Afghanistan, leaving behind billions of dollars worth of military equipment in Afghanistan, which fell into the hands of the mercenaries of Taliban. They are selling at throwaway prices to the militants in Balochistan, the militants in Kashmir. So US leaving behind billions of dollars of worth of military equipment has a sinister impact on the internal security of Pakistan as well as India. Both are bearing the brunt equally. Afghanistan banned the cultivation of opium. In Afghanistan, the Taliban regime banned cultivation of opium, which has impact on the skirmishes in Manipur. How come? Because of the ban of cultivation of opium, the naturally cultivated drugs, heroin, ganja, etc., the international demand for these naturally grown drugs increased leaps and bounds. In fact, US was perturbed. It was tremendously disturbed because you know the consumption of drugs is very high in US. Hence the demand increased, which led to massive illegal cultivation of opium in hill areas of Manipur. The major two reasons for the skirmishes in Manipur: first, the reservation issue; the second, the massive crackdown of Manipur government on illegal cultivation of opium in hill areas. So this is how international events have impact on national affairs. Not only national, in fact, subnational affairs, that is state affairs. This is how we are going to discuss the concepts lucidly. This is my assurance that you are going to have deep insights into it. You are going to have the grasp of the subject. That is my assurance. Then we will discuss the UN reforms. Like UN reforms, first and foremost, the UN should have its own security forces. When it uses the security forces from other countries, when it deploys these security forces from various countries in sub-Saharan African countries like DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, in various other trouble-torn nations, these troops are committing massive human rights violations such as raping the native women, molesting the native women, because the UN peacekeepers, the UN peacekeeping forces soldiers, if they were to be implicated in any rape case or in any violation of human rights, they will not be subjected to criminal proceedings. They just repatriated back to their parental country. That's it. They would not be subjected to any criminal proceedings. This is a serious lacuna in UN peacekeeping missions. This is how we will discuss UN reforms and the issues related to UNO. We will discuss the responsibility to involve, right to, peacekeeping. What are the circumstances which require the intervention of UN peacekeeping forces in the sovereign affairs of a particular country? These concepts we are going to discuss in section A of paper 2. In paper B, in section B, paper 2, we are going to discuss India and world, India's relationship with Asian countries, India's relationship with European countries, India's relationship with major powers in the world, India's relationship with Israel. This section would be very useful for you in GS paper 2. In GS paper 2, you need not to separately prepare for IR. Whatever you prepare in optional, that would be adequate enough. So, this is what I would like to convey you, my dear aspirants, and this is my assurance that you are going to get benefited immensely by subscribing to PSIR optional offered by Nirnay IAS. Thank you. Thanks a lot.